Alright, everyone, hello. I hope you can all hear me fine out there. This is Gregory Jensen with Distinguished Billiards, and we have OCTAVIANO, BORREGO, and Jason FICK playing on the stream today. They're playing for top of the valley, and I believe they're playing for first place. Let's just take a second here and get a few checks and balances going, get the stream out and live for everyone else out there. And then we will get going in just a minute here. Alright, so it shows we're live. Alright, and they're in here for the lag. Jason Fick on the left, Taviano, Borrego, or Tavo on the right. Looks like Jason Fick is one lag. Looks like my mic's a little bit loud. Alright, so now Jason Fick here is breaking. Jason Fick, he's breaking 10 ball. 10 ball, you shoot the balls in order 1 through 10 using the magic rack over the traditional rack. I believe that is the Fedor Gorst magic rack in front of him there. Alright, Jason, going to break slightly off from the side. I'm going to try to come into the 1 ball. Just get a good pattern spread on the rack here, hoping to drop a ball off of the break. They are racing to 11. Their Fargos are close enough that they are racing. I believe Tavo, who is Octaviano Borrego, is about a 550. Jason Fick coming in about a 585. Jason Fick to break. Jason got a nice break there. 1 ball gets down table. Cue ball gets near the pocket right over here. I'm looking to try to get to the 1 ball here. Top. So Octaviano Borrego at the table. Looking at the 1 ball. Curious to see if he's thinking about putting the 1 over here or if he's just going to try to lay up into a 6. 2 ball over here. That's the next ball he's going to go after. He would come off the rail nice if he did do such a thing, but no, he went for a safety there. He really buried Jason up quite nice too. Although Jason does have a line, Jason's going to try to come into here. Come out here and clip it into this zone, but he also can come over this way, come off the rail and get impacted here. And he might try that and even come up a little more this way on it. No, he went straight head into it, which was certainly an opportunity he had there, but the off angle of that would make it a slightly lower percentage. Octaviano, he's got a good look at the one here, but is he going to go for another safety or start going to work? The angle he's at may say he's trying to safety, and he is. So yeah, the advantage of the safety here is to get ball in hand, try to get the cue ball into a position where you can get great shape off that first ball. We keep running at this table. So Jason, opportunity to jump, but I don't know if you really want to jump with this because he's got the kick here. It's pretty wide open. That's what he's looking at there. Try to see if he maybe can get that one ball going in the side pocket. If not, maybe he's trying to save you. He's just really he's aiming from the backside of the shot, just making sure he's got his directions right, his alignment oriented. So coming into the hit. Ooh, he clips the outside edge of it. And then here's the opportunity for Taviago Borregos, excuse me, to really start to take a look at the table. So he's going to cut the one ball and try to shape the two, I would think, into the side pocket. Now, whether he comes inside and uses one rail or two rails for the difference. A little bit of pocket cheat there, really didn't go his direction. I would assume here shortly, Jason FICK's going to really try to get some momentum on this rack. He's just really got to shape his way out of this suit. Alright, so Jason came through the one nicely. And now he's got to look at the two. Really see if what he can do with the shape. Let some other people know the stream is up and going here. So, so two ball is in the side pocket. Obviously, probably going in the side pocket here. Does he come in full and kind of draw off of this? Because if I'm seeing these balls correctly, that might be the 7. It's really hard for me to get color on it. As I've stated before, I am at times the colorblind commentator, but looking at Jason's body language, I'm going to go ahead and say that is 3 ball. So he's got the 3 ball up here, coming back down table to try to get some shape. Oof. A little bit of body movement there, Jason Fed. You can see the hand wave just doesn't like it, but it's, as pool players, we will do that from time to time, unfortunately. So Tavo with the 3 ball side pocket, shooting the balls in numerical order. Oh, he did not go to the side. All right, so he was doing less work with the cue ball, taking a little bit different percentage of shots, so he can get a look at the 4 ball right here. See what he can do with that. Might just try another safety here. Try to maintain table control. In a match like that, that's where table control is going to consist of. Safeties. It's if you have your shots, you take your shots. If you don't have a shot that is in your comfort zone or in the percentage you like, you let it stay. Jason Fick just counter safetying there. A lot of back and forth even on this first rack between these gentlemen. Really just sparring for table position, table control, and table position. Start to wonder if Tabo would jump that, but the problem with the jump here is he's got to come in this angle, and it's just his body language would just be, or his body position would just be wrong. So he went for that hit like that, just to try to get a nice clean hit out of it, keep his table control relative. And he leaves Jason in, pretty much a re-safety position here. I don't know if Jason's going to come this way, and this way with the cue ball, or what he's really going to try to look at doing here. See what he does. And he went forward with it. Sort of the same situation of what you would get inside, just with the opposite direction. So Tavo now back at the table. Tavo's looking at a couple different options here. He's got a 4 ball here that can go to this pocket. But it's going to get some tangent line traffic over here. That tangent line being that natural flow of the ball after impact without manipulation. He's going to go with the combo because that's where I was going next, saying maybe the combo is a smarter play. Ball speed really has to be maintained here. And he does a great job. Really solid job. Unless he wasn't going for that. Okay. But no, Jason Fick, if he did not have a shot here, if he did not like that, they were playing Timon, he would have an option where he could give the ball back. Since that was not the called pocket by Tavo. Jason Fick's at the table. Look at the Jason just really clean this up here. He's just got to come into this and just, I don't know if he's going to just try to punch it out a little bit here, and he does. But he gets a lot straighter on his punch. He does a great job there. So yeah, he's just going to pop this and come this way just to get some shape off of this. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful shape there, Jason. Now, ball manipulation, Jason likes to give in to these things a little bit. So I wonder how much of this line he's going to be into this thing. Let's see. See, he just drew straight back instead of going forward and dealing with anything extra in that regard. And nothing wrong with that. He ends up downhill of the cut angle. That's what he's looking at here because he's got to hit that ball like right in here. If he comes across this with that, I would expect maybe he comes this way. It depends on where he hits it and how thin it is. Because he could stall it off the ball as well and kind of end up over here. Yeah, see, and he just goes all the way around. So nothing wrong with that whatsoever, especially with how much that cue ball is going to take off if you put stroke into it and hit the ball with it. So nice angle here for Jason Shea. Coming in and seal the deal on that first rack. All right, so yes, Jason Fick getting on the board here with one. Score counter is over there on the right hand side of where they're breaking, so they're over there marking for themselves. Now, we are doing, or they are doing, alternate break format. So that means from the lag, who wins the lag, it's going to get the odd number breaks, and then the opponent gets the even breaks, and then they're going to alternate breaking. No one person's going to run away with excessive break and runs or anything of that nature. It evens it up a little bit. It keeps it a little more competitive back and forth between the players. But where that lag's really important there is if this goes to a hill match, if both these gentlemen come down at the back end of this, and they're both sitting rack number 10, and we come down to that final game, well, the break can be everything. So if Jason Fick won the lag, if they go hill, Jason Fick gets that hill break. And that's your opportunity to get up, break and run, or break and control the table and win the match. So alternate break, Jason win the lag, Tavo at the table now. Let's see what his break produces for us. Very similar side of the rack that Jason Fick broke from. Looking for a pot of ball, get shape, get some alignment on the one that sets the ball up on the table. One ball drove near the side, drops what I believe was the 5 ball in the side pocket. Alright, so pretty manageable rack here, really. Tavo just really has to do some work on this one ball. If he makes friends with the one ball here, sends the one ball home, gets down table for shape on the 2, he's really got a good look at getting somewhere. This is his key starting shots really going on this rack. It's a nice shot. He comes up and under and over to the 2 ball. Really kind of missed an opportunity to look a lot better, unfortunately. However, we're going to be positive for every player at the table because we are always a supporter for the person at the table. So Tavo's looking at a possible bank if he feels comfortable with it. Back to the side pocket. He might go for safe, but he's going to go for. No, he's going for a safety here, and he's got a decent safety here. Jason Fick looking at this, but early tens do not count, by the way, too. If there's different formats where early tens do count. In this BCA format, early tens do not count. So, and there's usually more room between these balls than it looks like when we look at this. So when we look at this, we see this much room, and sometimes it can be unclear. There's usually about a quarter inch more on the table than what we can see at the angle we look at, and that's pretty standard for a lot of streams. All right, so Jason Fick taking this time, just trying to really get a feel for not giving Octaviano Borrego a ball opportunity. Table control between players. This fairly match, Jason's got, I think, a little better feel for the overall percentage of the game than Tavo does, but Tavo's just right there behind him. Right. Didn't really quite stay on the table with that jump shot attempt there. So he does give Tavo ball in hand. And if that two ball does go clean past the 10, which apparently it looks like it does based upon the body language that Tavo is presenting, unless it's a safe opportunity, but based on the back angle he has. But he is looking at trying to get shape here to the 3 ball, which I believe is down table right here. It's a nice draw shot. Just manipulates right off the angle, puts draw on it, just gets it where it needs to be. Let's see if we wonder if the 4 is going to go in this pocket after he gets through this, going up table to shape to here. He gets outside. It's a decent angle with it. So looking at the 6 ball next, I believe, right over here. That's where we're going to be going to. Yeah, he gets nice shape on that. So after he shoots the 6 ball, he'll probably maybe end up. He's going to go downhill with it. Okay. I thought maybe he would stay up and just let's see if he gets about here with it. Might split the difference. He'll be careful running in too thick. Yeah, so I get pretty close to my where we're thinking with it. So yeah, he shoots the 7 in. It rolls up some, and he gets a good look at the 8 down table. Personally, I think he'd like to be actually a little closer to straight, so he can just roll up for the 9. See if he gets a nice little touch on this. It's a full hit, so the ball's going to slow down. Yeah, the ball does slow down nicely. Alright, so he's got a little inside angle. He's going to make a slight adjustment. He'll probably end up here. Does he end up there? Pretty close. That's where anywhere in there is a good place to be. Now it's just a matter of whether he wants to use forward or back English to shape the 10 ball. Just puts a little back on the cut. Leaves himself a nice little angle on the 10. Takes his time. Make sure you finish your stroke. Don't overcook it here. And nice help by Sabo. Oh, Jason's just racking up the score for Tavo by accident right now, apparently. Oh, they'll figure it out here in a minute. You got to hit lower on the screen, gentlemen. He's really winning fast here. Oh, I can hear them out there. So they're apparently having a great time. Oh, there we go. Okay, they figured it out. All right. So 1-1. All right, 1-1 and a race to 11 here. 10 ball, alternate format break. Jason Fick at the table. He's got the magic rack out, using the magic rack over the diamond standard rack. The magic rack to be that pretty consistent, near perfect rack every time. I believe that is the Fedor Gorst rack. We do have Salado racks coming in here shortly. Reed tells me they are going to be in the mail here very soon. So those will look very nice on the top of the Valley table here at the Diamond Den, Mount Vernon, Washington. And Distinguished Billiards, powered by Salado. All right, Jason Fick to break. Oh, Jason's coming in inside the angle a little bit more now. Probably trying to just find an adjustment, see where those balls start to work in his favor. Nice little break there. That one tucks in, unfortunately, to a less than favorable position. We come over here and look at this one ball right there. It's near that 9. Jason can touch it, but he does have the opportunity here, though, to call a push, and there's a good opportunity he's going to try that opportunity, I believe. And the push here looking to really help him because the push is going to get that ball off the rail, but also he can use it to manipulate it to maybe a shot that he feels more comfortable with than Tavo does, and therefore maybe Tavo will give him that push back and let Jason go to work on a percentage shot that he's comfortable with that maybe Tavo is. The only way we really know that is to attempt that push and see what your opponent thinks about it, and while looking at the table, because leaving that in a more manipulative situation is also potentially an advantage. However, that is the danger zone right there. That right there is certainly the danger zone, but looks like he got away with it. No scratch right. All right, leaving Octaviano Borrego a very long shot on the one ball that may not pot. There are 5 open pockets in the table right now. Yes, the percentage of some of these shots are extremely or variably low. Might be trying to back cut, not out there looking at his eyes or looking, just going down table with it. Maybe just trying to get out of it with some version of the safety. Really doesn't get there. And where this table is right now, Jason Fick, if he just settles down, takes his time, he should have no issue putting a 2 right in front of where it says Jason Fick. He comes up table for shape to the 2 ball. He's going to be able to come right back at, I believe, that 5 ball. Nice little draw stroke. Use a ball on the table. Those dots, you can see the spin that the players are using as they're making their shots. He's going to draw this back a little bit for shape on the 6. Oof, a little bit of shoulder movement coming through that. Gonna watch the frustration levels, but he gets out of it with a fairly okay. I mean, there's room to take a bath if you get in the tub, but the tub's dirty. He's got to wash it first or something of that nature because he's got to come up here more than likely, and then backbank this in order to get a kick shot. Is really what we're looking at here. Just kick shot for Taviano. Really nice kick shot too. Really good touch on that. Ball manipulation was really, really to the point. Ball spun forward, back, right to shape. Now 6, come off the rail here. Maybe like this out here for the 7. Does he get there? And he does. That looks very nice. Really, he's a little on the full side of the ball here. So if you look there, it's still plenty potable, but just it's going to come up a little short. And that's fine. It's just stay outside this angle, and that's very nice. Just a hair of topspin, just pop the ball off the rail. We want a little more angle than that. You just gotta send it just a little bit now. Maybe try to either backspin the shape or get a little stop on it so you can get the 10 ball. Really to that top. Let's see where he goes here. Yeah, very nice. So on the rail, shooting on the rail, you never can see the full part of the ball, but he can see enough of the top half of it that he's gonna get a nice firm hit. Ooh, same thing. If you watch that shoulder over there, you can see the body movement kind of comes through there. Jason Fick did pretty much on a similar spot on the table. He doesn't leave Jason though an odd look at the 10 ball here. It's a little close to a double kiss. He might be going for a safety. And that's exactly what he did. He went for the safety. The ball's not touching the rail though, so that does give opportunity to Taviano just a little bit more here. Yeah, absolutely. He's going to come back across that ball, give it a nice cut, and let it rest. That's right. Just a nice back bank, and just let that cue ball just kind of rest as it comes through. Well done. So Jason still in points away from Tavo. Okay, give him back. All right. So Tavo up 1, and a race to 11, 2-1. Alternate break, as we've spoken of. although Octaviano did win that rack, his opponent broke the last one, so he is breaking two. Just a moment. We're going to share the link to the party. Alright, so now we have Tavo to break, very close to his last location where he started his break. So, coming to the head one ball, you hit the one ball first and the 10 ball break. Did not see the ball potted on the break. Tavo obviously not happy anyways with where that would have been in relation between working on getting impact on the one ball because the few balls here. However, not his problem because now Jason fixed the table. Jason probably looking at a push shot. And that's exactly push shot. Nothing special has to happen on push shot. Player just needs to make contact with the ball. Ball needs to move. Your opponent obviously has the opportunity to give it back to you or see if they want to work on the rack. With the skill levels of these players being fairly matched, a little more experience from Jason Fick. Both players, though, equally available and can use solid outcomes. Tabo taking this time, really getting a feel for potting the ball and getting back to the two ball. Oh, no, he was not. Okay. You can't see the player's eyes. You can't always tell exactly if they're thinking the same thing. Nice safety, but Jason can just kick and spin them to the inside. I do like that. Now, it does look like Tavo has a fair chance to put that one there. From there, though, with the two big over here, I believe it does increase the difficulty to some degree, but still very manageable. Yes, and unfortunately, that is all too often what can happen. Trying to get shape on the two ball there off that shot. I think every day, if Tavo's trying to make that shot will go in. But it's manipulating the ball to get to the next shape ball, maintain the manipulation, doing it correctly, and executing it, and repeating that process. Nice little soft touch shot there by Jason Fick. Jason Fick knowing every rack's going to count more than likely, unless someone gets away with something, someone's making mistakes. Not being at the table, I think Jason's going to be cutting this in the side wall, in the side pocket, sorry. And he does. Leaving him a look at the four here. Right here being the four ball. Just want to make sure he doesn't impact the 10 first, and he does it. And that was a very well executed shot. He made it look simple, but he understood how much with the ball being right here, he can hit the full side of the face over here and drop it in and make sure that he hits that ball full first before it impacts the 10 that direction. And he does that very well. So 6 ball, potted very nicely, shape the 7. And then you're going to see a little bit of a bigger shot because the 8 ball is down table down here. So he's got to punch it or go up and down. And he punches in quite nicely. And does he manipulate out here? Is he going to be out this way with it to the 9? Or no, he went the other way again. All right, really feeling a lot of punch on his stroking currently. And they're technically might not be a right or wrong way to do those. It's just what feels right to you at the moment. Really nice ball manipulation where he got underneath it and kind of just gave his stroke and the point of his stick just a little more action and really produced that shape to that tin ball. And that's a seasoned player. That's a player that's been at the table that has a feel for what their stroke can do and what those little manipulations look like. Alternate break, 2-2, Jason Fick, Magic Rack on the table. Fedora Magic. And the Fedora Gorse Magic Rack is actually working very well. And there's no sponsorship there. There's no anything like that. Jason actually bought some and gave me because the ones I was using just weren't quite as tight as we'd like for the quality here at the Diamond Bid with Distinguished Billiards. Not very much. So the Gorse rack really working beautiful. And we've got the Slato racks coming in very soon. And we hope to have a report on those as well. I can only assume it's equal in top tier. So Jason Fick to break. 2-2 battle, race to it. Falls over the crowd. All right, so Jason drops the ball on the break. And oftentimes now, when the magic rack is open, there's no balls on it, the player's going to go grab it and get it off the table. It can make minor situations as it balls slowly touch it. It could move them some, but it's also just a visual distraction. Jason, looking at the one ball, really got to take his time here and decide what path he wants. He could shoot this all the way down the table. He does have the skill set for it. It's a 7-foot diamond, so the distance is fair. He says, "I don't like it." Then you're going to get to the table here, Tom, and see what you like and or don't like. He might have leaked that out. Like I said before, oftentimes there's about a quarter inch more right there than what we can see on the stream. So Tavo at the table. Really a nice Paulson stroke in the one ball. Missed the pocket with a little bit of cheap manipulation. Good finish to the stroke. No body movement. That'd be textbook really there. All right, so looks like 3 ball on the side. Just a nice little stroke on this, pushing through it just a hair. Ooh, gets to the outside edge of that just a little firm. And gives Jason a look at the table. But he doesn't give Jason a whole lot. He might try and make that 8 ball, but he's just going to try for the safety. He gives Tavo a good look at a possible carry here. There's a back bank, there's an inside bank, but the carom might be his play here unless he's not feeling it, and then he might just default to safe. But with the percentage that he has there with that carom, he might go for that. Will the 2 rail or 2 ball hit? Yeah, the cue there shows that he's going to go for the combo. That angle must have looked a lot better at the table than it did here. He did a very well job with it. Pop the 3, just off the rail for the 4. Alright, so Tavo just stays in stride here, focus as well. He should be able to get this rack. So 4 ball down table. Really just get it to the pocket just a little faster than it needs to get there with, and you'll be in shape. He does that well. Now, he might jack up and draw, but he's just going to come 1 rail and check the 6 ball. Ooh, all right, he gets bigger with it. Gets out of jail as well. 6 ball to the corner pocket. If he gets just any decent angle on the 7, shaping the 9 should definitely be in the wheelhouse of opportunity. Nice firm hit to come to the other side of the 7. I like the confidence in the approach and execution really overall there. Nice finish. Do that just basically one more time here, and he does it. Really feeling confident at the table. So he's coming over looking at the 10 right back down here. Just a little bump draw on the line. A bump forward. I'd prefer just a little bit of back angle. And he does have a little bit of back angle though, so it's certainly very manageable. Nice straight shot as well. Really solid stroke. Really solid out. Taviano BORREGO delivering a win there on this alternate break format. Here at the Diamond Dip, Mount Vernon, Washington, owned by Distinguished Billiards. And as you can see on the top right of your screen, I am Greg Jensen. These gentlemen are playing 10 ball, shooting 1 through 10 in numerical order. No early 10s, 3 foul rule in effect. And the 3 foul rule is where a player, if they get 3 fouled 3 turns in a row, the fouled player loses that way. And that can be off of a scratch, off of a non-hit, off of contact, no rail. There's multiple ways to produce, but doing it is actually harder than you would think. Yeah, so Tavo now to break. Breaking from the identical sort of places before. Really solid break, producing a ball down the table. 5 ball almost goes in the pocket. 1 ball almost goes in the pocket. But does appear a dry break. Dry break being nothing potted. Jason has a very nice look at the one side. Producing angle to the 2. Jason getting up with a little bit swifter of a pace here. No, he's going to have to get some momentum to come back and match Tavo's win that he recently produced. Oof, a little bit of body movement. He does tie him up a little bit, though. Might not give him a really solid look at potting the ball. All right, so Tavo stepping away. I believe he's going to produce a jump cue here. Go for an aerial assault. Jason Fick attempted to jump a little bit earlier. Didn't quite keep it on the table, but it was a solid jump. You can see there Tavo putting a jump bridge or just a general bridge, it's just taller for jumping as well, on the table. He's going to use that in place of his hand. It's just a stronger foundation to elevate the cue to the proper place to jump. Anything below the center of the ball is a scoop jump. It's not legal. We can't be doing that. You got to hit above center on that cue ball. And really, once you understand how to do it, where to do it, it's very controllable and very manageable. But it does take just as much practice as everything else on the pool table. We'll get a good look at his opportunity here to jump and pop this ball. He's going to have to not only jump it, he's got to land it well, and he's got to use his English and or shape that he's going to want to play after contact to stay at the table. He did pot that nicely. He did get a big bounce, but it's still on the table. So he is still in it for this rack. Looking at shape, I believe he's still at the 4. Colors on this screen is still working with a little bit here. It looks like this is the 4 right here where he's going to next. If he comes in a little extra thin, he might be able to get through here, but I think he's going to run it. It's going to like to run in that 9 unless he works it away from it. But he might take the medicine of 9 impact because as long as he comes outside this edge of it, he's going to get out here and still have opportunity to look at that 5 ball. Let's see how this plays out. He goes for a bank shot to try to potentially, I guess, hold shape that way. Maybe the angle was just a little more wonky or a little more just off percentage. Now he gives Jason Fick a solid opportunity to work on getting out here. Jason really got up there with that cut. He knew he was going 3 rails, potentially 4, and he was willing to take, I believe, probably any shape on this side of the table. Anything inside that line, I think Jason was probably willing to take, but he was certainly trying to get to a manageable angle that he liked because you don't want to be like under this angle and having to shoot this way. That's going to make the ball more difficult. But nice punch draw. We got to watch the side pocket. There's a head in the way. Oh, it looks like we Jason Fick got there. Now the question is Jason going to maybe try to hold up in here and shoot the 7 here? I'm predicting it might be something of that nature. No, he goes forward. And then that's just some of the danger of that. And you can see a little bit of frustration there. He leaves OCTAVIANO BORREGO an opportunity here to put a number 4 beside his name. Now, since the 6 ball is not deep enough in the pocket, I think you're going to see a pretty full hit on the 6 ball with some spin manipulation to shape the 7 ball. He's got multiple directions to go. And he really just kind of dinks it in and just lets it drift out off of a little bit thinner of a hit. And it looks like he might have a well enough angle here with it. A little bit of a push forward. If you look at the cue, the way the cue moved there, he was just trying to cue that cue ball up a little bit and let it just go. But when you do that, sometimes you're almost like falsely dogging your stroke, and that's kind of what happened. You know, dogging the stroke being just doesn't quite complete. The acceleration doesn't quite finish. It's just you only got less than 75% of the correct ratio of impact to the ball. Nice little touch push by Jason there. Really just using the outside edge of that 7 ball to create just enough off spin for the cue ball to shape the 8 ball. Now Jason probably feeling where the 10 ball is going to go. Because the side pocket's here, you don't want to have to shoot it this way. So Jason's going to, I believe, try to come and reshape this to some degree. Really, really nice level stroke there. Coming through that ball, getting a full reverse rotation hit to shape the 10 ball to put it down table. Just a really solid high level stroke and way to play that shot. So yeah, Tavo had a solid opportunity to get 4 there. A little bit of a wiggle. And let's Jason get back to the table. Jason keeps it interesting here. The players do have a blue Solano towel. It's off to the side. When they decide they're going to take a player break, they're going to put that on the table so that we all know that. Oh, they just now said that, I believe. I think they might have forgotten about my towel. I will. Oh, now he remembers. Here we go. There's the towel. Okay. There we go. So that means we're having a player break at the moment, and I'll take a break myself, and we'll be back momentarily. All right, everyone, we are back from our player break and just joining in here as they've returned. It looks like I believe Jason Fick had that break. 9 balls left on the table of a 10-ball rack, so that means one is down. The 1 ball is still on the table. Without a clear look at a safety here, I expect Jason Fick to just perform a push shot. Oh, maybe he was trying for something there. Either way, not exactly what Jason was looking for out of that opportunity. It's 3-3, race to 11, top of the valley. He's generally currently shooting for first place on the list. And if anyone in and around Mount Vernon, Washington is interested in top of the valley and or joining the list, you can go to Facebook and look for the Top of the Valley Salato Challenge Series 2025. And in there, you can join the group and see everything that's offered to you there, including the rules, regulations, where you can play, how you join the list, and all the players on the list. All right, Tuttle had a opportunity there, scratched off of the 1, giving Jason ball in hand, looking at the 2. Jason giving Tabo maybe potential advice if Tabo was asking for that, I would assume. Oh yes, experience. Jason's been playing pool, I believe, for roughly 35 years, so that definitely gives him solid experience to execute at a very, high production level. With the 3 on the side, performed that very well. He's taking the medicine on the 4. I believe he's going to shoot the 4 on the side if predict what Jason will do here. And he shoots that very well, comes under the shape on the 5. Cuts the 5 very nicely. It was a fairly important shot here for Jason to put some work into to shape the 8 ball off potting the 7. He's a little closer to the 7 than he would like, but he's certainly very manageable. It's just a matter of how much punch he puts on this ball versus how much he just lets it go around the table to shape the 8 ball. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to just let it go around the table. But I believe the shape sacrifice there didn't let the 8 produce, or the 7 produce to the pocket. But he also gets away with it with a little bit of a safety. OCTAVIANO looking potentially at a kick shot. 1-rail kick could turn into a 2-rail kick. He's got a speed controls big here if he wants to try to shape the 8 ball. Does not produce impact to the 7. Therefore, ball in hand to Jason Fick. But Jason, not out of the woods yet, but definitely manageable. Got the 7 ball. Might come inside angle or just shoot it up and out. Didn't really quite get to shape, and obviously, as we can see, the ball it's doing the diamond table thing, and it's just what diamond tables do. That shelf here on a lot of other tables, if you look on the other pocket here, it's like all the way out here, and so those balls fall in a lot more often. But on the diamond table, you get that extra almost inch of shelf there. Really makes this in here just part of the bank play level of the table. All right, so Tavio looking for another kick opportunity. Really good focus on where he's aiming on the rail. Does not quite get there. That may put Topo on 2, but there just really isn't a lot of big opportunities here for a 3-foul attempt, and really no need at this point, I think, in this match. Jason looking at the ball manipulation because the transition on that 8 really needs to not get away from the player or from Jason because he wants to hold up for the 9 ball. He's going to try to move it out, reshape it some there, and that's certainly doable. He's got a potential bank shot. He's got to draw this off of the hit because the double hit where the ball comes off the rail and then re-hits the cue ball is a reality that you just have to work around. So he tries to stab it away from that double hit, but he leaves it in the open field here. So Tavo gets to get up here and make what looks like a long field goal, so to say, because the distance from the ball to the object ball to the cue ball to the pocket often is one of the harder shots in pool to be high percentage at. And I know Alex Pagulayan, who's a professional player, he talks a lot about that with some of the stuff he does playing one pocket and other games of that nature. He says he'll warm up and get up there and see how many times he can make that center table pocket to pocket shot. And he says he's usually looking to try to do it 15 times in a row before he's really caught himself warmed up. And that's just the skill level of professional players that put the work in day in and day out, 8, 12, 14 hours a day. All right, so Jason Fick probably going to draw this to the 9, and he does. Looks like he's going to end up coming. I wonder if he's just going to come through this line. Just get over here and shape it that way. You really don't have to do a whole lot to this. You just don't want to get crazy with it. Just get it, hit it with your light medium hit, a little bit through it. Let's see what it does. And then he comes straight across it. Jason having a little bit of conversation pre-shot there, then going back into the shot. I think a little more staying in your routine probably would have made that just fine. But gentlemen, being sportsmanlike, having good conversations at the table, nothing wrong with that. All right. So Octaviano Borrego cuts the ball in 2-row shape to the 10 ball. Really, really nice ball potting by Tavo to go up to 4-3. 4-3 race to 11, 10 ball. Players, no Fargo's up beside their names, but Octaviano Borregos, I believe he's around 550, and Jason Fick around 580. Alternate break 10 ball here. Taviano racking. It is rack your own. They are using a magic rack. Well, this is actually the Fedora Gorst template rack. And it is a solid rack producing consistent, solid 10 ball breaks. We do have the Salado racks coming in here very soon. Reed has been in touch and informing me that they will be in the mail very soon. So we'll be seeing those on the table in the stream as soon as we can. So Taviano gets that win. It's it's big for him to get up here, control this table, and get another win. He's got to keep Jason Fick away from the table if he wants to have maximum opportunity. If he gets too much pressure, starts backing Jason up, I believe Jason will come to the table and really start trying to control it a little tighter and a little tighter and a little tighter. Just squeeze those versions of wins out of him. And all Tavo has to do is not let him do that. But as we all know as pool players, much easier said than done. Because really nice break here. He produced a nice break, but the cue ball just backed up over there, and so he decides I'm going to push it. So first shot, you can just push it, just let it go. Your opponent can try it or come back for it. Jason Fick's going to look at it. He might give it back, but he's got to be careful giving this back because he probably will do maybe what Tavo would do, not giving it back, is he can come all the way down here. We can get that cue ball back down here if you want to try for a safe event nature. However, yeah, there is a on this rail. If you're on this rail in this zone, every now and then the wall over here might get in your way a little bit here, but we do have a very very nice high end short stick. So a rebank, leaving Jason Fick down table. You really didn't leave Jason Fick a whole lot. Jason might try to cross bank this, but with the 2-6 down here, sitting like this, it really that can limit why you would want to do a whole lot with this, other than potentially just make the table worse and would start like a new rebattle sort of game. All right, Jason, I believe bled that out. It's going to give Tavo a look at. Kind of the nice thing with Tavo's opportunity here now produces though is he can come through this and break this up if that angle is correct from what I can see here. And he decided not to go that direction with it. Well, the ball didn't quite do what he wanted. The combo for the 6, the combo for the 6 for the bank is possible if this 10 ball is going to want to move over here. He might just save me, yeah. Alright, he safeties, but he leaves Jason Fick a bank opportunity. And the bank opportunity really gives him a further opportunity. If he pots the bank, yes, he's calling the bank. He has a good chance to kind of get the cue ball maybe over here in this zone and shape the 6 ball. But he's just going to try to stop it, play a safe, and a bank because he knows he would still get the 6 this way. And that's another really solid way to address the ball. Just delivering that bank shot and holding the stop shot without counter throwing that ball outside of that far bank pocket isn't always the easiest way you can produce really good shape to your next ball. But it depends on the player and the player's skill, level of abilities, things of that nature as to where their abilities lie. Right, so Tom will on the rail with the jump. Trying to look at the chat here, see if anyone in the chat yet. Nothing to see there. Nice jump by Tavo with impact, body, and shape. Now he's a little back on the rail, but very manageable. See, yeah, and the issue of just being on the rail up here, especially with this long of a shot, is you can only really use the top part of the cue ball. So unless you're driving down into the cue ball to produce something, which often can lower shot percentages, you're just manipulating top English. And that's something that, pool players practice and should practice is just consistently learning to shoot well, rail off of the in rail. World class player CJ Wiley talks about that a whole lot in his mind. Maybe it's true. He says he's one of the best players in the world off the show rail or the top side. And that was a great attempt by Octaviano, but didn't quite get there. And he leaves Jason Fick with a two-rail opportunity or a one-rail draw. Did not expect him to go that direction with it, but you can do that. I like the two-rail there because it just fed natural shape, in my opinion. Jason Fick, with 35-year experience and a much higher farmer than me, knows what Jason Fick do best. All right, so he's looking to cut this into the side and then reshapes the 8 ball. It's a little thin, so the ball's going to want to have some speed coming out of the cut. You might see a little bit of a shorter stroke. He just kind of lets the ball out, but manipulates it just a tiny bit with the let of the stroke. Had some body English in it, but he gets away with it, leaving Tavo a tough little leave for a shot opportunity unless he's got the bank shot. Because if he's bold, that's there potentially, and he could shape the 8 if he gets it. He's not going to go for that, and yeah, that's the thing. When you hit a ball that full close to the rail, it's going to want to maybe come back and double impact. And if you get the double impact, it potentially will slow down, and you might get the roll behind the 8. But if you don't, you give that player a good look at coming back to the table, producing something. Right, so Jason Fick, shoot the 9 to here, come over here. Maybe somewhere in there, depends on. He might get up a little higher than that. He might be up here. Oof. I think he was maybe looking more at shape than ball potting there. Didn't get to see his whole body language. All right. Yeah, Taviano here, coming with a little bit of inside spin off the rail to shape the 10 ball. Comes through with a really nice stroke and come forward, manipulate the ball, trust yourself, be confident, deliver the ball to the pocket, and you'll get those to really produce the way you want to. A little bit of steering on the cue ball, but the outcome's correct either way, so not much to say there. All right, so Jason Fick's down 2, race to 11, coming to the table here. A little heavier ball impact in the table, so we can maybe think Jason's feeling a little bit of frustration that there are a couple of uncharacteristic misses. This is a game where, well, that happens, doesn't it? All right, so Jason Fick to break on the alternate break format that we're running here today, or the Top Valley just runs in general. So get a solid break, pot a ball on the side, 8 spins, almost drops in the corner. Not quite there. Oh, you got to look though here at a 1-8 combo. That's Jason moving that magic rack off the table, get that visual distraction away from the table. Don't think he's really looking to follow this one ball. I think he just wants to kind of be there. Oh, maybe he is. Okay, Jason coming to the table playing a little more aggressive now. So pop the 2, shape it for the side with the 3. Does not quite deliver. So Taviano, let's get the 2 at the cut. All right, so here, going to his cue case, we have a cue case over there, getting an extension now. The extension, making the back half of that cue longer so he can extend the cue further through his body, therefore not having to change where his body's naturally going to be no matter what. so that way he doesn't decelerate his stroke or produce something. So very, very well played to get a extension in that point. You see him taking it off the back of the cue there. And though this is a 7 foot diamond, it's not as large as 9 foot table, but body position is body position. Sometimes you're putting an extension on, and many people would say that like you don't need that, but well, if you're not going to be in your normal stance, then there's a good chance you do. All right, so Taviano not getting shape that he liked. I think he wanted to be underneath that 3 ball so he could put it aside. Might have Jason where he has a little bit of a look at it here. He does. Jason gets a thin cut at it, comes back around. All right. I think he might have leaked that out though, because like I said earlier, if there's a little more room there, if he just needs a little more room, that quarter inch does exist past that ball. We just can't see it. And I think he does have enough room to cut this. Just gotta pay attention to traffic and shape. And maybe he does. Maybe he went for a re-safety. Looks like we might have ourselves a safety battle here, ladies and gentlemen. At least for the moment. I think we're about on our third safety here with this situation. Jason Fick could be trying to back bank, but I think he's just going to re-safety. Yes, and we are in a safety battle. And safety battles can be just as exciting as someone running through ranks, just because it's nuance. It's how well did you jump? How well did you kick? How well did you bank? And then when you re-safety, how close to the balls were you? How tight was the cue? Both players just looking at ball in hand off the other so that one of them can work to try and run this racket. Taviano for the jump. Produces a really strong hit. Manages to keep the cue ball on the table, but I think it caught like 2 feet in the air. And he re-safeties Jason. So he's got to have a smile on his face with that. I really think he does. So yeah, Jason taking his time. He's measuring for the bank shot. Really just getting a feel for where he wants to come into the impact angle versus seeing where the diamond is. He gets a good hit. Not quite the safety I think he was hoping for. If he didn't get something off of the kick, he leaves Tavo a cut shot. But no, even getting a cut shot here, Tavo has to get shape on the 5 ball, and I think it's down table. And he does. And yeah, there we are with that slight issue of where that 5 ball was at. And if he's not feeling a really strong shot percentage here, he might just go right back to a safety. And that's what he's going to do. He drew that nicely, but he let that ball just kind of get out. I hear Jason Fick from the other room saying "ouch" because there's a potential back bank, but I believe it's probably a little too straight and a little too close to the edge of the pocket. There might be a thin cut. You can come through the ball and just let the back edge cut it like that, and that's a skilled player shot in my opinion. Where instead of coming and using the impact zone of the center part of the ball or the input of the front part of the impact zone, you're manipulating that back edge of how the ball lets out. Just is a really solid way to make some of those shots that other players, maybe haven't developed the skill set for yet or understand the correct way. All right, Jason might be looking just to go 2 rail shape, just back and forth across the table here for the 9. If he does, That'd be a good way to do. You said, all right, no, he had enough angle that he could just kind of hold it there. So yeah, now he's going to come up and down the table. Expect him to come. Ooh, let's go this way, then this way. Yeah, like that. It's a little downhill. It's a little way downhill, but he's still manageable with it. Nice little touch out, and he gets back in it. All right. Jason Fick puts number 4 up. Doesn't let Tavo get a commanding lead or anything of that nature yet. We're just one rack separation. Because that's one of those things too. You got to stay away. Try to stay away from letting your opponent get that commanding lead. And depending on the level of the players, the higher the skill set, the more commanding that lead can become. You get down 3, 4, 5 racks, against 600 level and above players. The percentage of coming back gets lower and lower. But you want to stay in it. You definitely want to stay composed, and you want to stay in it to the end, and do your best to be the adamant player at the table, winning or losing. And we all learn that in different ways, including myself. All right. So Taviano at the table, alternate break, Tabo up 1 rack here. See what his break produces. A little slower on his acceleration coming through that break than he was his previous breaks. Came in the break about the same spot. All right, so he gives Jason Fick ball in hand with an open table. Would really like to see Jason Fick put the work in here. Get out. I'm always a champion for whoever's at the table. Whether I know you or not, I'm a champion for you. Jason just walking around, getting a good look, working through the order of operation. How he's really to this table. The 2 ball's not as fun as let's do this as Jason would like it to be at the moment. So he's gonna make a decision and commit to it and execute. And that's the key here when you don't have one exact pocket that you like a certain way. It's important to find something that you want to produce, focus on it, do the work, do your routine, and get it done. That's what Jason Fick did right there. That's a prime example of it's kind of iffy, but not. Let's not do too much. Let's do too little and do it well. He's been punching off rails, so I would think he might go forward, but he might just punch us off the rail check before, and he does. And so I think we're gonna. That's the shot calling on Jason Fick that might be more prevalent this evening. I think Tavo might have gone forward with that to get shape. Either would be just fine as long as you do it correctly. It's a look at the 6. He can hold this with a little punch, or he can come up a rail or so, reshape the 7. I think he's going to go forward with it. Yeah. See if he gets down enough spin. I think he wanted to shoot it in the side, but maybe he didn't. He's just going to send this down table. He's going to just figure out how much angle he's going to miss the pocket by. He does that well. Gets back down, down and up and down. Gets to where he can probably cut that 8 in the side pocket. If he gets the 8 cut nicely, he should get shape on the 9. He was right there. I think he felt right about it. It just, some of that's it's the diamond side pockets as well. They're actually a little bit larger, but they play like they're half their size sometimes, especially when you come in from an angle. So Tavo here, 8, 9, 10. Really what's left here for Tavo to deal with. Really gotta look at the angle. Probably wants to be trying to find the straight part of the inlet of the pocket. Kind of funnel past this right here. It's gonna make 9-ball shape a little more tricky, but manageable. He does that well. He funnels right by that area. Just really focus. Don't start overthinking this. It's a thin cut, and oftentimes you want to try to do something else extra, but you don't need to. You just got to do it. Just do it like you would the shots that you do. He does get away with a little bit trickier. The shot here, not getting that in. Jason Fick can going to go over there, look at the cut, look at the bank. Because those are the two opportunities he's really looking at. And this is, I think, potentially another one of those thin cuts I was talking about earlier, where Jason made one of those over here. Is if he does that, yeah, you're kind of bringing the back edge of the cue ball into the part of the cut, and yeah, see, that's one of those things that can happen with doing that because you you got to be so thin and you got to be so correct. Just any little tip movement, just a hand or wrist movement, and it just spins it just ever so much out of proportion. So Tavo might come 2 rails maybe. This one come down here, take the shape, finish the stroke. Nice push, nice center pocket shot. All right, so 6-4. Tavo capitalizing off some mistakes. Jason getting some mistakes in his favor, but gives them back. Magic rack on the table. Alternating break 10 ball. 3-5 in effect. Salado, sponsor of Distinguished Billiards, and the driving power force behind Top of the Valley, in Washington. Let's see what Jason Fick's break produces. Going wider this time on this break. Still looking for a break that's working. Punches it in, 1 ball on the side. 9-ball goes down tables. Takes a nap by the pocket. Magic rack coming off the table. Get that visual distraction out of the way. All right, Jason Fick delivering a safety after the break. On the 2-ball for Tavo. Tavo at the table. I believe he's looking to kick shot this safety. Look at his body language. Going to have to backspin this, I think, a hair. Yeah, that's what he's looking at. Looking at the backspin. Does he get it in? Oof. You know what? Let's give him an applause for the attempt. That was a nice attempt. Doesn't go in, but it was a nice attempt. Jason Fick for the back bank. These like to go a little bit better, especially if you play them off a ball like so. Drops the 9-inch, shapes the 3. I think some of that was incidental, but you know what? You're going to take it. So, yeah, body language is showing he might be trying to go forward. Might be going for a bridge. Looking at the way his body language was sort of just moving too much to the outside. No, went for the extension. All right, put the extension on. Still don't like it. We got more choices to make here. All right, so yep, we tried the right side. We put an extension on. We tried the left side. Now we're going to get our 2013 Bad Boys jump bridge out. Jason's been using that for, well, since then. And it's a good product. It seems to work pretty well. Although, unfortunately, you can't buy them anymore. All right, so he pots a 3, shapes the 4. Now the 5 ball down here is going to take just a little bit of work, but if he comes out and just takes the cut angle, when he gets there, it can help him. I thought the 5 was next. He was at the 3. He was on the 3 ball. No, the 7. Oh, okay. That was a really nice play we saw there. So what happened was he got behind the 7. He didn't want to try the jump. He wanted to probably, I think, be out here with that and just, or sorry about that, out here so he can just take this angle. But he got past it. And so he just drives the 7 over here by the 5, takes the foul, and causes a disruption to the potential run out that he could be handing away to Tabo. So yeah, instead of Tabo here, if he didn't make the jump, if he didn't need a hit, Tabo might have a good opportunity. But now where he's sitting, Tabo's percentages have gone down. So he might be looking, if this 5 goes clean, he might still keep it and draw back here for the 6. He keeps it clean. He gets down there, and man, what a nice shot! What a cha-ching! I don't know what wrong there. Okay, all right, so Jason Fick now at the table, and that's sort of where he was trying to be before when he was trying to think to be up here. It's still manageable, but now it's just so much thin cutting downhill on the 7 ball to reshape to get to the 8. It's you're jumping into the fire and back into the fire, but you got to get up and do the work and just see if you can get there. He did try. 'Cause, yeah, that's a daunting task of making that shot with that shape and reshaping almost the same shot again. It's oftentimes can be hard to make it better, especially on the 7-foot table, because it's just so tight from side to side. You just don't have quite enough room to let the ball naturally do something well for you. You've got to work with a little heavier. All right, so nice shot by Tavo. Tavo probably, I believe, coming off the rail, looking to go up table. Can he get there? There? Maybe there. Nice full hit, but don't hit it hard. Don't hit it hard. There we go. Leaves Tavo a solid opportunity here to pop this 10 ball down table. Oof. Really caught the outside edge of that fringe of that pocket, so to say. Tavo's misses have really not been giving Jason Fick a lot of opportunities that make his life easy. And that's we call that the rolls oftentimes. The rolls just not going in his favor when Tavo misses for sure. So Tavo's really missing well. This is as I think what is how we want to say that. It's Tavo's at the table, so we're gonna be champion for him, obviously. He's always Tavo always a class act. There's no way not to be a champion for this man. Nice bump hit. Goes down table. Gets downhill or uphill. No, it's be downhill. Downhill, but he leaves a thin cut for Jason Fick here. So Jason is going to take his time. Now, and this is a slightly different thin cut than the ones I was speaking about earlier, where you hit that you're using like sort of the back edge of the ball. You're really coming right into the center of the ball. Maybe as you're just rotating through it to cut this ball. Finish it with a nice stroke. Don't overcook it. Yeah, see, and we don't have a replay here, but if we had a replay, if you were watching, you could see where it impacted, like right there coming into the ball. And it's hard to fault the player, because if you get up there and you look at that, you want to make that same shot. It's not free. A little better opportunity for Tavo. A little better angle than what Jason Fick had to do. See if he can hang on, drop it in the pocket. Oof. And, and this is, again, we're back at the diamond table situations here. These pockets on this table it's a pro-am. They're not small, but they're still stingy. The rails are so stringy, the shell's steep. If it touches anything, it's just going somewhere else. And it's kind of what we're seeing here, just not quite getting the angle right, and then it touches the point of the pocket, inside or outside the point. And it's just it's a battle of attrition. Nice thin cut by Tavo that doesn't fall in. Good night. These gentlemen kind of feeling it. Tavo says, "I'll give it to you." Jason saying, "I'll shoot it." Jason said, "I'll take it." That was tough for both of us. We can't fault it there. We fall Ben in those sort of battles. I think especially on a 7-foot diamond. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of the table and the curse of the table. It's your friend or it's your foe. Because if you're hitting well, the diamond table works perfectly, and as long as it's in reasonable condition, it's very uniform. A diamond table in Washington State plays the same as in California, as in Florida, Georgia, New York, Caribbean, Hawaii, Alaska. Well, it'd be frozen in Alaska, but still, it'd probably play the same. And that's just, a testament to how far pools come, over like the last couple centuries as well, especially the last, decade, with the evolution of keeping the tables consistent. And Diamond's done that. Right. 6-5. Tavo's ahead. Tavo to break. Nice medium speed break from Tavo. Pots a ball on the side. Gets a shape on the 1. Squeaks the magic rack out around the 10. All right, so 1 ball going down the table for Tavo. Now the cue ball is going to want to kind of get away from staying natural shape, I think, for his 2 balls. He can take the medicine where it's going to be, or he can start to work just to get it to a happy place. Hold on 1 second. Okay, Jason just came and reached out to me. We do have music going in there for the players, but apparently the Bluetooth is kind of skipping around with it. Wondering how we can get that to happen. So we're just changing the way the music's being delivered. Hopefully, if I don't hear any issues. All right, back to this table at hand here. All right, so Jason Fick kind of buried behind a couple balls, but it might clear just enough for him to get shape on the two ball. Nice roll down the table. Ooh, touches the 8 and does not get around. So, if that was not a push, which I don't think it was, it's been ball in hand back to Tavo. So, Tavos doesn't have he has a very manageable table, but he's got some situations where he's looking at because he's got the 6 ball right here, if that's the 6 ball. And then he's got these tied up here. It's not free, it's not a freebie, but he can certainly do something with it. Okay, so he punches out 6 ball. Okay, so obviously this ball is, I guess, to me at least, this is obviously his next ball. Still, this is in the back of his mind right now. I can tell you that for sure. Let's see him go there to the side, holds that up nicely because this here, you might see some inside spin manipulation from this. Yep, you see just a little bit of top spin inside just to shape the 6 ball. Yeah, come off of there, shape the 6 ball. And the thing that here is does he have enough traction to hit the 6 and come through there and make this happen? He might end up over here. And that's just kind of what happens there. We didn't quite get this part of it figured out. And that's why Jason Fick was okay doing what he did. He did, and he knew that. And as I've learned to play 10 ball, coming back to playing pool years later, 10 ball wasn't played before, 9 ball wasn't the big game. I've learned quite a bit of processes of thoughts from Jason too about how to think about those things differently and when to know when it's worth it when it isn't. So he likes the 9 on the side or he's in the safety. Other than him getting it all the way down table, probably not feeling ecstatic about that. He left a nice angle for top on the 7 ball as well. So you might see Tabo come inside and back down table. No, he does all. He really gets down there and puts a stroke on it. It was well delivered. Leaves a thin shape on the 8 ball. It's a good cut on that and gets out of it fairly clean. I think he took a shower between that shot. All right. He puts the 9 in the side. He actually wants to come a little off the angle of what he would think about. And he knows that. Yeah, exactly how he's setting himself down on the shot. He knows what we're talking about to end up with. Gets a little aggressive with the hit, but what happens there is that the full hit, the fullness of how he has to hit that ball, I really, believe it's a little more of a later manipulation. So you're not going to hit it quite as hard. You're just going to give it just a little more of a follow through on your stroke. And I think that still pops the ball in this context. But talking about it and doing it's two different things. All right, start back talking for what's probably going to be 2 hours straight. Requires you to stay hydrated. Keep your speaking voice lubricated. All right, back at the 10. Can't quite see the other side of it, but I don't think this is as thin as it looks from here. I think this is just you come across the back edge of the face of the ball. Yeah, he kind of punches it. It's, stay out of the pocket. Stay out of the pocket. Oh, oh. So far, this match has just been the Tavo 2 ahead. Jason comes up, gets it right, brings it to 1. Then just something's just not going correct. Now it's back to 2. 2 for Tavo. All right, so Tavo at the table to break. Magic rack, Fedor Gorst, 10-foot rack. 10 ball. 3-foul rule in effect. We have not seen any 3-foul attempts yet. And unless a rack doesn't really get broken up quite right, balls end up being pushed together in such a fashion that it allows for a 3-foul. You just don't see a lot of those, worked on as often because it's much more difficult to get a 3-foul against a player the higher their skill level is. So when you do see one, at this level and above, you're seeing someone executing something, you know, really well, and both players usually respect getting a 3-foul in. Maybe a little short intermission here between the players, and we are at the Diamond Den out there in Washington. Greg Jensen with Distinguished Billiards, Jason Fick is at the table. I believe Tavo broke, but now Jason Fick. See, so 6 and 6 is 12, breaking 13. Yes, it is Jason Fick's break. Jason Fick won the lag, so he has the odd breaks. Why is that important? Well, because you see how close these gentlemen are staying? If they get to 10-10 race, 10-10, and it's one game left, Jason Fick will get that break. And that is where that lag can be sold. All right, so now we have Tavo at the table after Jason Fick's break. Going for the bank or going for the safe? I think he's going for the safe. If he's going to be tied up back there behind what could be the 4 ball, now I am also at times the colorblind commentator. I can see the colors, but sometimes at certain angles they can be tough. So he hits the 1, drives the 10 around the table. Early 10 doesn't do anything for anybody. He just respots. Leaves Tavo a nice little look at the 1 ball. Drops the 1. Shapes the 2, I believe that's the 2. You should come around the table, take a good look at it. And it's really important for players, as you watch this stuff too, is get around, get a good look at the entire table, even if the shot's easy and you know the shot. Especially in a match where every detail matters. And when the players are, this is like a 30 Fargo difference between these two players. Both, mid to high 500 players that can play at a 600 level or better when they're in stroke. And that's really just the differences between the Fargos, especially once you get above about 550. It's just about how well your skills are developed, how much you can do with each of them, and the choices you make. There's so many details involved with being excellent at this game. Nice attempt at a safety from Tavo. I think he ran into that 9 first, and he says I did. Tavo, ever the gentleman. Just a man you want around you for sure. So 3 ball, side pocket off the rail. Now that's a nice little touch spin stroke by Jason there. That takes development. Those aren't always necessarily free because it's a fill without pushing on the ball too much. But you're spinning the ball basically off the edge of your tip. So that was a really nice manipulation by Jason. Jason really starting to kind of dial down a little bit, and I like seeing that from him. You know, when Jason dials down on a 7 foot diamond, stops kind of just trying to do too much with it. I found he can really find a different zone of ball control and just really keep the table right, sort of, up close to it, and keep the balls just minimally active, but doing all the correct things. And that's a great skill to have for a 7 foot. He come off the edge of the six, tried to carry him and make the seven, and the unfortunate part of it is he scratched. I mean, that's an excellent attempt at that shot. He left the angle on this to get to the seven a little tight with the 10 where it's at. I think Tavo would feel best if he could get to the outside edge of this, which is probably what he's trying to do, is just get over here to some degree. Or maybe that's cleaner right here than I thought it was. I thought he was going to have to come this way to avoid impact on the 10 ball. But apparently that's not true. But now the 10 ball's going to get shoved down the table. He's going to be careful not to get it up here while coming through the shape, while coming through here to shape the eights. And or I guess draw it back. Take my drawing tool and go home. I'm kidding. All right, so 9 ball's going to probably have to go up past the pocket unless he wants to get wild with it, which he doesn't. So that's good. And here's the thing. So the 9 ball with it this far off the rail, he's safe to go down here with it. If it's any closer, if it's like here, anywhere near trying to flirt with the edge of the points down the table can be a detriment. And he was safe with that one. He gets a good look at a cut shot here on the 10. Hold, give it just a push, just like that. Doesn't let the pocket interfere, and so that's what Tyler did so well right there. He did not let these parts of the pocket interfere with what that shot was doing because he didn't have to. In making that adjustment, not decelerating, just giving that nice little push to the pocket, you gotta respect that shot is not difficult, but it rattles so easy on the diamond table. So pause there for Tabo to go up three. Now this is where Jason has to start calming back down, dialing back in, getting back to playing his game the way he likes to play it, coming out of his head. Not trying to do too much with the table. Keep the table in front of you and keep it in control. Topple's found a little bit of stride on this table. Alternate break. Each player gets to break one after another. Topple at the table. Let's see what he gets. Came with a little more speed this time than his last break. Drops the one. It's a little wonky with the two. Now, looking at what I believe this is the 2 ball right here. But now the problem is I don't think that goes by there. There's nowhere over here for it. I think he's going to be left with either a push or a save. And right now, table control should be everything for Tabo. Tabo's life should be table control to maintain his 3-rack lead. So I'm thinking the safety's going to be used here. And he does produce a safety. It's Jason Fick down table. So yeah, so Jason can come this way, get a kick. And because the backside of the ball is clean, that's probably what he's going to do and what he should do. There's no point in trying to jump this, especially when you're going to have to come all the way, across this part of the table to try and jump that. So yeah, definitely see the kick shot here. Executed a nice kick shot. Got a got a safety out of it too. So Tavo gets to come up here with a kick shot as well. He can come this way with it, come off the face of this, and work to re-safety this down table is one of his options. Or he can go for it. He's got to put some backspin on it though to get it underneath just a hair. And it just didn't quite, I think, maybe feel the shot there. Quite see the same level. And that's the thing too, as well. We can see a little better angle than sometimes a player can see coming through this field. With the EvoSports platform, using that we're using here, and all the support they give to Stage Billiards and everything else, it's really nice to have the platform here, and for the players, the Diamond in and everything, to ease up what it takes to produce a stream. So, and Jason produces a nice safety there. Doesn't here we've got a kick window blocked. Here we've got a kick window block. We have a kick window right here, so he could come this way with it and get a kick at it. If he wants to jump, so if he jumps over the 9 and lands it here, or he can come off the 10 and pop this over there as well. He's going to 2 rails. He's going to try to come 2 rails to the kick. Does not impact the ball. And with that wide of an angle, I mean that's just kind of what the struggle can be. There is, you got to be almost down here with it to get that impact. When you come up that wide, you can't make it difficult. And here Jason doing kind of what I was talking about a moment ago. Gets it cleaned up, get to the 4. So we get the 4 up table here. Maybe it drifts out to here. 5 down table. Let's see if we get nice touches. 5 down table. Clear that out. A little more ball manipulation here to get shape on the 6. Odds, ooh, would be an option. He might have been going for the 10. I don't know. What do you call? Is he staying at the table? Alright, so yeah, he called the 10. Good play. Now it actually gets better for him. Because now he has the opportunity to come back and shape the 6 ball. Stays away from the 9. Doesn't stay away from the 9. He might consider a jump cue here. Jump cue makes the ball. Kick hits the ball. It's really where he's at with opportunities here. That's the thing. I think like if he was going to kick this too, he would have to find a way to spin the ball for manipulation. Oh, and he gets away with it. Oh,
What the? Oh my god!
yeah, we got off the rail into the hit. Yeah, and yeah, sometimes it's just the way those land and what happens, and they look like that. There's different ways when we talk about ball manipulation too. That's one where the jump just went that way, but you also use spin, draw, top English side spin. All those are combined or done individually or ball manipulation. So that's just a by chance way to do it, and we went back to back jumps. Tavo not getting the same outcome that Jason Fick got there. Jason Fick is back at the table with a decent looking table. That's just pool, ladies and gentlemen. Any given Friday night, sure. All right, Jason's going to draw that back. Nice soft draw there. forward English off that shot, and that's a really, really well way to shoot that shot. A lot of players want to draw that back because they feel like the draw feels better because the balls are separating. And for players that don't do that, it's it's an opportunity that you're kind of missing on having better percentages. So something to look at, as we all progress through playing pool is, sometimes top spin's the better answer than bottom spin, even though we've been taught, many years, draw that shot. Well, when you look at the pros, you may not see that happen as much because it forces the ball to steer. All right, so if you're going to miss that, and you can't leave the 10 ball on the other diamond end of the table, I guess you can leave it here. All right, Tavo. Focusing up here for Tavo. I'm sure he's practiced this shot. This is more like a stop shot. You just moved it back. Or a spot shot. Sorry, spot shot being when it goes up here on the spot, and then you have to shoot it to one of these pockets over here from behind the kitchen. So draw better lines here and show you guys here. So a spot shot, the ball's here. He ought to be here. It has to go to one of these pockets. Will be your spot shot. Back cut here for Jason. Soft manipulation. Nice little drop in the pocket. All right, so Jason goes to 6. Tavo's at 8. We're back to 2 for Tavo. OCTAVIANO BORREGO is the pronunciation. That gentleman's name. The other one, Jason J. Diamond Den here in Nutmere, Washington. Top of the valley. Shooting for first place right now. Powered by Salado. As seen on Jason's t-shirt. All right. So balls are racked on a template style rack. That is a Fedor Gorst rack. So far, it's been a very consistent rack. We've been using it for about a week now. And Jason Fick going back to his inside range, 10 ball range. Nice power. No balls down. Leaves Tavo. A look at the one. But Tavo's got choices to make. Safety, obviously, on the table. We can push. Push, you can do whatever you want. And your opponent can decide what to do with it after you do that. Or we can bake. Alright, so Tavo got the one in. Now the 2, though, really isn't the cleanest way to go about the hit. But let's see if his 2-rail kick works better this time. And it does. Does it get to the rail? It does get to the rail. Bravo, Tavo. However, it just kind of leaked out and gave Jason Fick an open table. So now Jason Fick at the table. Shoot the 2. 2. Ready to shape the 3. Okay, so 8's up table. The 4's right here. Jason's a nice little draw shot, I believe you're going to see. Inside angle. Doesn't draw it, though. He uses bottom, though. It's a stun spin draw. Or stun spin. One come off the rail unless he wants to draw it. He might draw this. Oof. Almost got a miscue out of that. Probably just going to take just a second, kind of settle down here, refocus. Look at the shape on that 6 ball. 6 ball over here. He might put the 6 ball down here to the corner. Then he's going to do a draw stroke. No, he's going to send it up with a little inside bottom spin. Might go long here for shape to the 7. Yeah, he's going to go long for shape to the 7. He's got off angle, so you're going to probably see a draw shot off of the 7. Probably making some eyewear adjustments. Alright. So draw shot off the 7, I believe. Might use the rail. Yeah, uses just some of the rail. Gets to slow down nicely off the kiss off the rail as well. Straight on the 8, but that's fine. You don't mind that. Nice edge angle for the 9. And really, you just gotta shoot this shot and make a choice of where you want the cue ball to stop, and you should be on the 10. It wants to be where it needs to be, and that's good flow from an angle Jason got about 5 shots ago. Never getting out of shape, staying in shape. When that 7 ball came up to that 6-7, he got that 7 up table, held shape for that 8 ball, and we're back to 2 for top. Or is it 1 for top? Okay, no, we're down to 1 for top. Okay, nope. Okay, they'll figure it out eventually. All right, so Tavo at the table to rack. All right, he had a 3-game lead not too long ago. Needed to maintain table control and getting out. Missed a few opportunities. Jason Fick came back to the table. This last rack, we really saw Jason get back into stride to the way he shoots pool and really held shape well for that rack. So Tavo now needs to try to answer that back. Just keep his 1 rack lead, but obviously then it would be a 2 rack lead, and we'd be back to 2 for Tavo. Top of the valley at the Diamond Den in Milton, Washington. Jason, no, Tavo to break. Tavo coming really uniform, I've noticed, on where he puts his cue up, where his 10 ball break. He's not really searching for anything. I think he's decided if it's a 7-foot diamond, this is where I break, and I just work on consistency. He's had some 1 balls go on the side. He's had a couple balls go down here to the corner pocket. He's dropped a couple on the other side. Not a lot of alignments afterwards that were favorable. See how he gets this thing. All right, nothing down. Get that eye distraction off the table. So Jason Fick looking at this mess. It's not bad. It's just tight. The 1, boom. The 1 goes there. Comes up here off the 1. He gets to the 2. And then we've got, if this is the 3 ball, which I think it is. Yeah, that is the 3 ball. So if he gets good shape on the 2, then he can come out here, potentially get somewhere over here for this 3 ball down here. And from there, it's just, you can manipulate the 5 off the rail and get it back over here for the side pocket. Lots of opportunities to produce a changed rack. Because once that's over there, the cue ball should be downhill. He might not get downhill to here with the 4 from this spot. Well, let's see how much of that comes to fruition. That's what he's looking at. The 3 ball's the key problem right now. Because the rest of it can happen. It's an interesting rack, actually. All right, so here we go. This is the shot that will tell the tale. Jason knows what this is going to take. He gets a little underneath the thin side of it, but it will still go. It's pretty much the same thing, I think. It's just he's got to spin the ball a little bit heavier, and he tried to bank it. Okay, maybe he was going for a safe out of that, and because he got thin on it. Because there was a chance, I think, that 5 could end up hitting here and end up down here, and then that's going to make the rack not as favorable. So Tavo could have an opportunity to do, yeah, he's going to use masse, I think, a little bit, and that's when you shoot down on the ball to create downward force spin, which manipulates the ball around. Yeah, you see how, if you watch it, you can see the measle ball curve just ever so slightly because he did use just a light bit of masse, and it's hitting down, creating rotational torque spin into the table, and it moves it around. And it was a great attempt, and the ball, a little bit more, and the ball was in the pocket. So he puts Jason Fick on the thin side of this cut. Jason, he can actually, if it's kind of if this ball was just like right here, he could actually bank it in. But here, he can't. He's got to get it super thin. He's almost, I think, banking it this way to make it, just because this point right here is going to be critical to not impact with very much of the face of the ball right there. So Jason in another clutch situation here to just produce a shot. And for Jason, making this shot isn't the issue. It's making this shot. Does he just inside spin and come back out here? To get back to this 4 ball? So not quite sure what's the situation at the table, but so yeah, I still think he's probably going to come through this way and come out here. He might be working on. Okay, I believe he's working on the tip of his cue to some degree. Sometimes this can be good for a player too, just because it's a little bit more of an eye break. So if he refocuses when he gets down, and he was a little unsure before, his confidence might become more natural after that. So he can come around the other way too. I think he's going to. He's going to come the other way. Yeah, Jason, he felt the touch of that shot a little better, and he just used that little bit of bounce in his favor. So he rolled it, and it bounced into his favor, and then he just used that little push of the outside left English to make that bounce off that point like that and drive the ball where he got it. That's what I see with Jason. Nice roll all up the table off the hip, and that's another shot that it's a pool player shot. It's you have to practice that. Practice, understanding how that's going to work through that. See what plan Jason has for the 6. He might use a lot of table. Might use a big draw here. Don't know if he got where he wanted. His body language says maybe. I think he's got that little bit of that extra edge we talked about. We can't see. He must have that. No, he does not. All right. So yeah, here we go. This is what I see Jason Fick doing. He'll get the rack in his favor, start dialing in and get some safeties that he likes the percentage of, and work him against his opponent. He's going to see how well Tabo can recover from these safeties, and the worse Tabo recovers, the more he's going to apply. So I'm rooting for Tabo to recover the safety nicely. His opportunities here, can't quite see well enough, but it looks like there's enough separation from here that he could, jump into this and pop that 8 ball. And if he doesn't like that, he can jump into here and he can bank this ball to here. See, and yeah, and that's kind of exactly what Jason Dick was hoping for off of that safety. And with the distance of the two balls in the way and the lower percentage of potting the ball, it just wasn't really, in Todd's favor, but it was certainly still possible. He made a valiant attempt. So Jason Fick here, pots to 6, looking at the 7. Might go forward, come under the outside of the 9 to shape that 8 ball is what I expect him to do. Dangerous way to go about it using that much force, and that's kind of what happens. I expected him to stroke that with just a little more, just a little less power and a little smoother forward acceleration, just to let the ball out and let it spin after contact and not do that much work. Good hit though. Kind of gets a little lucky with it too. I mean, Tavo's got opportunities here, but this late in the rack, there's not a lot of traffic left on the table for Tavo to hide this ball behind. So his percentage is to bank it like he's going to. And I think we saw a lack of confidence from Tavo there. Before you would have seen him kind of walk around the rest of the table, but you didn't really see that there. You saw like a step, look, bank, didn't like it. Just I'm right there with you, Tom. I mean, I can't say I don't do the same thing from time to time, but something to something to note, as you rewatch these things too. I know you like to rewatch these and listen to the commentary and see what you can adjust to. See here. Now this has got a different angle. See, let's see if his confidence improves. I really hope it does. We're champion for the player at the table, and that is Tavo Borrego right now. Back cut bank. Will reshape to the 9. Good attempt. These Jason Fick toughed as well, but he did reshape it nice to the 9. The 9 did have two very manageable pockets. On the side, it can go long, and both of those would have shaped the 10 back down here in this corner. So that was well executed. Can Jason get a good cut? He's not really even going to try for the cut. He's going to put Tavo right back in the same position he's been putting Tavo. So, all right, so Tavo here switching cues. A little bit shorter of a cue. Trying to get a little more stroke. Found the tight spot on the wall. Very manageable still, though. Kicking at this, I believe. No, okay, he did bank. From this angle, it looked like could have been kicking. Alright, so Tavo steps away from the kick safety battle that we have going, kick bank safety battle we have going on here. And, it goes to show that safeties just aren't always balls tied up. It's just lower percentage shots that you don't want to give back to your opponent in nice shape. Jason Fick, usually really great at making that long down the rail shot. One of the better players doing that I've seen these consistencies from. Gonna jack up here and draw this back, I believe, a little bit, or he might go forward to put it. Yeah, I expect him to do that. Kind of got a little bit much of it, but it's not bad because this angle lets him get away with not having to worry too much about it. Like so. Really nice punch cut there. And by punch cut, I mean, you apply center ball to the incoming balls, also center point, and you just kind of drive it a little right into that zone of the ball. And at that point, it'll be all right. So the blue tile's back out. That means it's going to be a player break real quick here. That means I'm going to take a break real quick as well. And we will be back very soon. All right, player break has ended, and they're back at the table. Jason FICK to break. Jason was down 3 racks. We had safety battles, some position change, and now we're tied 8-8 in a race to 11. At this point, we really just called this it's a race to 3. They've played all these racks to get to this race to 3. And that's cool. So, looks like potentially Tabo coming at the table here. Yeah, Tabo has the glove on. Cut the 1. Oof. Kind of gets away from him a little bit there. Maybe would have liked to see Tabo walk around the table just a little bit more, take a look at the angle of that 1. But he was confident. He was confident. That's all there really is to it. He didn't leave Jason, a strong shot, a combo. That's what I believe Jason might attempt here. A 1-8 combo. If he makes that 8 as well, if that combo, that 1 ball comes this way, and the cue ball ends up going this way, if he ends up with decent shape on the 1, and with the 2 ball being down table right here, with the 2 ball being over here, it's really a good opportunity for him to potentially take this rack. If he can get that production done, he could seal this rack up in his favor. You see the hesitation, waiting, looking for the feel. He knows what this means. He knows what it looks like. He does not go that direction with it. He decides to go after the safety. Not the worst way to go about it either, because now Tavo, who's at the table, OCTAVIANO, BORREGO, he has to back cut the 1 ball, and with the 2 downhill of the table here, he's got to get all the way back around the table somehow, or back across the table to shape. Potentially lines up for the bank. He wasn't potentially in it for the bank. He ended up with the bank. Oh no, he said I wanted it right here. I didn't get there. All right. Thanks for giving us a pointer there, Tavo. Helping out the commentary booth. All right. So he's going to come to the backside with the kick. The backside kicks. Good opportunity to look at it that way. Feeds it out. Leaves Jason the 2 ball down table. Now Jason's got to look at the 3 and make a position decision after potting this. I think maybe he thinks he goes by the 4 on the side. And really what Jason's doing here is he's actually feeling shape for the 3. He feels confident making the 2. His body language, just the way he walked into it, showed me that he feels confident making the 2. But what do you do with the 3? There's opportunities, but they're all going to take different approaches to ball outcome. And you see that's what he's kind of doing there. He's like, this approach doesn't work. This one doesn't work. Where am I going to find it? And if he doesn't find it quite right, doesn't get it, make sure you can get a clean look at it, maybe deliver a solid safety, get back at the table with a different look at the table. A lot of ins and outs involved with some of the ways that these racks come about, how they get worked through. Yeah, he was trying to. I think he was trying to move that 3 ball around a little bit, trying to maybe get inside of the angle of this 4, because then that would open. So yeah, had that 5 ran into the 3 over here, the 3 would probably be over here a little bit more, maybe right here, and he could maybe get it in the pocket. I don't know if that's what he's looking at, but it's an opportunity. It's a real potential that could have been. But now he's going to have to do a kick shot, and there's a difference here. So if you are coming into the rail first, and then you're coming into the ball, that's called a kick shot, because obviously you're kicking at it. Now, if he were to come and hit the ball first, we're just going to use the 7 ball here. If you hit that 7 ball first, and then the 7 ball does this, that's a bank shot. You've banked the 7. So this, you bank the ball, or you kick at the ball. That's the difference of those two things. So he's kicking at this 3 ball, trying to pop the 3 ball to the side. Maybe he was trying to go long, but either way, I think he was going to the side. But that's the thing too. So with bank shots, I feel the percentages are always a little bit better because you get to drive the ball into the rail or hit the ball into the rail, spin the ball in the rail. You get to do, a pull move to the object ball and get it into the rail so you can get it to the pocket you want. Whereas the kick shot, if the ball is close to the pocket, so say if the ball is like inside of this box, it's often easy to get it kicked in the pocket. But the further away from the pocket the ball you're kicking at is, the more difficult it is to get it in the pocket. And I think if you just look at the geometry of how that looks, it makes sense. Now, did Jason get enough window past this 6 ball here to pop that 4 on the side? If he did, he's going to probably look at the 5 back here, or if he doesn't, the 5 quite right there, he's going to the 5. He might have to come with a little bit of inside spin, yeah, which he's doing. You can see him lining up right there. That's that inside spin he's going to use to manipulate that ball. Or impact the ball and spin the ball after impact. Sorry, manipulation is probably not the word with the best explanation. So, he comes into the ball, he spins it into the ball, and then it carries the ball to the pocket and spins away from the ball after impact, creating the outcome of the shot that he got. So he delivers to safety. I don't know if you know. Let's see, let's draw an angle here. I don't think. Yeah, Tava does not have a clean shot at that, so he's going to be kicking, as we said before. Doesn't look like he's calling the pocket. He's just trying to get a hit on it, trying to re-safety. Kind of leaks that out a little towards Jason's favor now. So if Jason pots this ball, he's probably going down here with it. He's got to steer clear of pushing the 6 to a bad spot, but if he steers clear of that and reshapes the 6, he should be good. Ooh, maybe he didn't try. Maybe it was just he didn't want to deal with fighting and reshaping that 6 ball because you can give it away really easy. So now you put Tabo in what I think a lot of us might feel is a jump shot, but this is where you'd hear Jason Fick right now if he was here, he would be telling you about um, a jump that I can do. It's a jump cue it's a thinner, lighter jump cue where you can jump parallel and still get impact. And this is one of those zones where that jump shot's more useful instead of going after a percentage like that. So Jason gets what he wants. Jason gets what he wanted out of that though, and so this is now the 3rd time I believe that we've seen Jason do that to Tabo, which is what he's really great at doing it, and that's where you need to learn to do all the skills to stop him from doing that to you. And I've spent a lot of time doing it, and I can do it fairly well now. Still not well enough, but fairly well. And it's not just Jason; he's just the one at the table that we're talking about. Pretty much any player that's well over 600 at Fargo will put you in that position over and over again, and they're going to do that until they lead you out and decide where your flaw is that they can start using against you. And it's important that you pay attention and learn to know that's what they're doing and learn what that flaw is by seeing what they're doing and how it's working to beat you. So your takeaway from that match should be, how can I develop these skills, or the skills that aren't as well, and come back and be the better player the next time we play this match. And that's a great thing, sometimes about these streams and commentary and everything of that nature, is you get to see, you get to learn, and for the commentators and the players, we all get to learn something. And I learn something every time I do this, and I hope many of the players that do it as well learn from it just the same. So yeah, Jason Fick, unfortunate rattle after coming through this rack, getting the safety he needed, putting the work in, and let Tavo, have something here. So Tavo up one again, still at tight battle. Alternate break. Tavo needs two, Jason needs three now. Let's race to three, which started as a race to 11. Really good showing out from both players today, though. We've seen every skill set just about applied in this match. We've seen various break adjustments. We've seen jump shots. We've seen jump shots that landed on the rail and came back and he still hit the ball and still got contact with the rail to get shape, to re-safety. We've seen some jumps not stay on the table. We've seen massé shots. We've seen kicks. We've seen banks. Just an all-around balanced battle, and the score reflects that. So let's go and let's continue taking a look at this thing. Tavo de break. Came in with a little less speed on manipulation or on the break. A little less speed on the break. He's got the one ball down table. This, I believe, is what Jason Fix will come look at because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, Tavo did pot a ball. So Tavo potted a ball. It doesn't look like he's tied up behind the edge of the pocket, so that's fortunate for Tavo. Might be looking at a combo here, unless he's going to safe. He wouldn't know he's going for the combo. Didn't quite get it, but he got a safety out of it. Looks like it appears. So Jason's kick this way is blocked. He doesn't have very much spin room here. He comes outside to this ball. He might have enough. He does have enough to go this way with, and that's what he's going to do here. Yeah, he delivers a safety that's really good safety. And that's the thing too with some of these safeties that oftentimes, it's a skill set that players should develop. Is that coming from one rail, getting the ball separated to each rail, and this is textbook right here. You see, you've got the one tied up here, you've got the cue ball up here, and you've got a 10 ball in the way. So if you could do something, pretty textbook, just to say, hey, this is what it should look like at a basic level. He's got kicks, he's got options, but it's really just as easy to end up, in that situation with it, where now Jason Fick gets ball in hand, which is what he was going for there. So Jason might try the combo here, but I think he's going to go for the one in the other corner so we can shape the two. Oh, Jason's going for a 3 foul. He has him on one. Yeah, Jason doesn't like this up here. So if you look at that up there where he just moved those balls, he didn't like that percentage. So he said, you know what? I'm not going to do this 1, 2. I'm not going to do this 1, 2, 3 ball work for you. Not yet, at least. So he might have left enough angle. Let's see. To hit the ball, yeah, he does. You can see he's got just enough angle right there to hit that one ball. He might be able to cut it even. Oof. So see, and there, because he was had to jack up over the ball and use the top of the tip. When he did that, it spun that ball. You saw it started straight, but then once it got to about here, it kind of curved out some, and that was because of that off angle where it just kind of miscued coming to the ball slightly. So he's on two. Jason, I'm sure just told him you're on two. So if Jason can get one more foul out of him, he would get three foul. And that's the thing we're talking. I was talking about earlier how difficult it is to get a three foul. Now this is Tommy's last opportunity right here to defend not getting that three foul on him. But however, Tavo now has this egg that he didn't have before. Don't know if he sees it, but I think that's the better percentage than trying to do anything from this side of the ball. No, he's going the other way. Okay. Oh, there we go. We have a three foul completion on a rack. Jason Fick has successfully three fouled Octaviano Borrego. All right. So, for anyone that wanted to see how you can execute a three foul in such a manner at a fairly high level of skill of pool players, that's it. All right. So, Jason Fick used that opportunity to tie it. The rack back up to 9-9 in this race to 11. So now it's a race to 2. Now, Jason, I think, is going to get a little more comfortable and feel his stroke and feel his stride and just feel his rhythm to try to finish this up. But he's going to be careful not to do anything detrimental here. And let's see Tavo, yeah, focus up, dial in, taking just a little more time between shots, and refine his thought process. Early in the match, I felt like Tavo had a really solid routine, a really solid focused thought process, and you could just see his body language really working through every shot. Just you could just time it, just boom, 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 and then I think some of the disruption, maybe it's the fact that they've played 18 games of pool. It's just kind of it's changed his stride a little bit, and maybe that's part of what's maybe adding some effect here. Where Jason looks like maybe he got a little comfortable here late in this battle. So Jason Fig, the break, pops break, gets the 5 on the side, gets shape on the 1. All right, so it's not bad, but you can see Jason's eyes. He watches it. You'll see his eyes kind of go. You see, he just kind of points at that. It's not the grouping we really want to see, but nothing's touching. So I think we might see a shot or two, an attempt at getting a line on something, and if that doesn't work out, safe. And this is, I think, maybe where that safe comes in right here. No early tens, three foul in effect, as we just saw from the last game where one was completed. As a three foul, Jason touches the ball, and yeah. All right, so Octaviano, Borrego, Tabo, back to the table. I believe his last 3 looks at the table were at safety shots, and this is his 4th look coming to the table at a safety shot. And it gets daunting as a player when you just step up to the table and just look at safety shots over and over and over again. And that's where it comes to a skill set of developing, a culture of dealing with consistent safeties and getting in and out of them and holding, the table or taking it back to where it's in your possession, your control of the table. And Jason Fick is just kind of bleeding that out and bleeding through at the moment. And I'd like to see Tavo just find a stronger focus with it. I understand you've had four looks at the table here, and none of them were pleasant for Tavo, but manageable. And that's the thing is none of them were so precisely executed by Jason that they weren't manageable. They were just low percentage difficult. We can't fault the player. It's just what it is. Right, so Jason gonna look at shape here, but now he's got this four ball over here to try and figure out what to do with. And he decides to draw back, and let's see if he doesn't have. Oh, he's the wrong one. Let's use this one. Yeah, we can use that to edge to edge and see. He's gonna jump this, and that's what he's gonna do here. He's probably trying to pop the six ball off a combo off this jump. He just needs to hit here. All right, so this is what Tavo needs right here, and he gets it. So this is again where I can see Tavo get his eyes back in his eye routine. Tavo has a brilliant eye routine. I've seen him use it, and yeah, and that's much more focused, much cleaner body language from Tavo there. So let's take his time, fill the six to the seven transition, because if he gets it clean, if he gets it well, he should start feeling pretty good about this. So, oh. All right. So let that feeling go. You see that feeling that I just kind of get out. You got to let that go and just imagine this is the next shot, and now get up and whether it's a safety, whether it's a kick, whatever it is, just get up and execute the next shot. You see, yeah, the head shake, sort of the shoulder movement that Tavo's going through there. You want to start to try to figure out how to shake that so you get your focus and your confidence back into making this shot, or you're safe. And he does a good job there. Despite the struggle, I like what he did there because he got that table ball separation I was talking. Sure, Jason Fick has a look at a thin cut, and then he's got to get enough table speed or correct table speed to have a decent look at the A. But he's not even going to try it. He's going to try and force Tavo to make a mistake. And we can look here to see how well that goes. We'll clear this out, the other side here. And yeah, we're right back that it's an okay save. Maybe it might be that quarter inch there. He can hit the ball, I believe, though, because even if he comes out wide, okay, we can see the arrow there clearing the edge of the ball. So it does appear that he can cleanly hit the ball. So then now it's about what do we do with the clear shot the clear hit that we maybe have. He's going to kick at this, and maybe it doesn't go then. All right. So now Jason Fick gets what he wants there, and so Jason he'll probably even the seven's going up table or in the side. It's going in the side. So we'll pot the side, roll, and again that's that stroke I was talking about earlier where Jason did that over here off the rail. That's that touch roll stroke that players should work on, including myself, and I'm working on it. Just because it does little bits of magic when you need them without having to do too much with everything else. Nice inside. So you see, where Jason he hit that full on the inside and then used the other angle to get it back out here to shape it. That was a well shot ball. All right, so it puts Jason Fick on the hill. All right, so we're looking for Tavo now. Octaviano Borrego. We're looking for Tavo to come back and make this a hill battle, a hill thriller. These gentlemen have played 19 games of pool now. Tavo down just one rack. Tavo dominated for the first half of this match pretty well. At one point, Tavo was up by 3 racks on Jason Fick. Caught a few bad rolls, a few mistakes here and there. Jason, just working on safety and just working the table in the direction where he feels more comfortable. Tavo not quite being able to come back and deliver the same momentum and the same feel to answer Jason's control of the table. All right, so Tavo to break. 10 ball. All right, let's see. Break consistently was decent there. Pots a ball. He ties these up though. There might be room to get by. There might be different things to work with. But right now he's working the template rack out of the balls we're attempting to. If he can't get them out correctly, or he can ask for some assistance if the players would like to assist. All right, but he was able to get that out of there cleanly. It will not be doing anything to change any aspect of the table and or be a visual distraction. So he's got the one ball and the cue ball up table here. He's got to cut the one ball. I would think all the way down here to this corner pocket. I think the two sitting in the nest in the back corner there. He's double checking really where that's sitting, how that feels for where it's sitting. Nice push on the ball. Does it get into the pocket? Oh, see, it doesn't get in the grips of the pocket. You could say, maybe that it was just a little thin and it drove to this rail. But that's the thing with the diamond table too. Is like a lot of tables you can get this to happen on, but just not on the diamond. The springiness of the rail, the square of pockets, the deepness of the pockets, it just doesn't allow for that much saving grace. Yeah, Jason checking shape here on his three ball. Might come rail first on into here, come across the ball to get this shape to here. For a second, it looked like he might be misaligning. Just okay, gonna come double check the look. And that's the thing. He wants to know if the edge of the ball is kind of also sitting on the outside edge of the pocket, I think, as well, because that's going to matter for how well he's going to get this thing rolling up here. My other line was a little bit better, but we'll see how close we get this one. Yeah, he kind of fed that heavy, but he might have wanted to feed that heavy and shoot it in the side. I honestly don't know what his decision was there. But either one's fine. You can be up here or you can be down here. There's pockets. He's looking at the 4 here. He's seeing if it goes. I think it does go. He's just got to hit the queen on the edge of the 4, which it looks like he did. Does the 9 blow up? The 9 does blow up. I hear some laughter from the room in there. I bet that's because they were Jason was worried about the woe on the 9. Alright, so the 8 ball's going to take a little more work to get to from the 7. Jason's looking at the 6 to determine how he's going to do that. Alright, so maybe expect to see Jason coming to put this here. I don't know which version of this he wants to try and do. That's what he's looking at too. I think it's just he can go that way, or he can kind of go this way too. But I don't think he wants to go that forward with it. Yeah, see, yeah, he had the same idea I did the first time. He had some body English in that thing though, but it worked out for him. But now he's a little steep. He's going to look to see does it drop off of there. That's, that's one of the things. Otherwise, it's just going straight down here, and then probably come across the table if he goes that way. Shape the 9 up to this pocket. Let's see which one of those he does. Kind of quiet here. Jason Fick on the hill. 3 balls to go. Oof. Overruns the 9 a little bit, but still manageable. Yeah, he wanted to be up there where I was talking about. He decides to gets the tie up save too. What a brutal handling. That's mm, that's not fun to deal with for Tavo. We can't see if they're touching or not, but based on Tavo's body language or body placement, they're probably not touching. That means, he's kicking this way. He hits the ball this time though, doesn't give Jason ball in hand, and leaves Jason a little wonky. Not a freebie unless it goes by the 10 to the side. Jason's looking at that right now. Does this go in the side pocket by the 10? I think it actually might. It does. That's what he's looking at, and then he'll put the 10 ball over here. Unless it gets long, then he'll put it down here. But he doesn't get it. Good night. So Tavo makes one ball, and we have a hill battle. We're rooting for you, Tavo. We are all rooting for you, Tavo. We want to see this hill battle, sir. Does he get it? And he drills it in the pocket. All right, so here we go. This is exactly what I was talking about at the very beginning of this match. Why it matters to win the lag. Because here we are. Jason Fick, who won the lag, is breaking on the hill. 10-10 battle. Whoever wins this rack wins this and takes the number one position in top of the valley. 20 games of pool has been played. One more game to go. It's a race to one. Playing the Diamond Inn in Mount Vernon, Washington. Let's go. This is as top as it gets. What a battle. Jason Fick to break. There's no easy out here either. No early 10s. 3 foul in effect. We've seen a 3 foul delivered once already. Kind of sitting a little on the edge of the seat at the moment, actually, because this has gotten actually to be pretty intense. It's good match. Oh, Jason Potts a ball. Does he get shape? Let's get the line out and see. I feel that line actually looks pretty good like this. Does it go? Oh, that is close. No, he can see it. I think he can make it. I think he can make that ball. He's walking around the table, taking his time. Shape's a little tough, but possible. 7, 7/8. A little bit of work over there. 4-5 likes to go. He's going to manipulate this to the pocket and come out for the 2 shape. He's got to shoot, I think, the 2 down here now. I don't know if he was going for that originally, or if he was. I think he probably wanted it out here to shoot the 2 on the side, but he's still looking at that. Maybe the back cut on the 2, but he could come off the 10 as well with the 2. So he could hit the 2 in here, and when it hits the face of the 10 there, I'll go there. But if this is clean, I think you take that back cut and get your shape. It's just, that's what he's looking at. It's just more work than he wanted to do for this shot. Yeah, you see, that's what he's looking at. Jason really putting in the pre-shot work here, too. You can see he really wants to win this rack. Really doesn't want to let Tao off the table. Break and run to win. Oof. Doesn't get there. Doesn't make Tavo's life easy, but let's see here. I think he leaves him enough room. It's pretty thin. Tavo would like to see just a little more ball than that, to be honest, but he can hit it. That's his number one key at the moment. We've got ourselves into a different battle now that Jason didn't produce a break and run there. Gets the kick, drops the ball, and it scratches. Man, that that hurts. But Tavo's not, you know, not done yet because we've got two balls tied up. That's 6-9. That's what Jason's going to look at here. That's his big concern. So yeah, 4-5, 6-9. Jason going for a safety, and boy, does he deliver one. Whew. So Tavo now, God, I don't know if he can consider this a jump or not. This is again that jump I spoke of earlier that I've been working on for a few months now. Not perfected yet, but I can do it, and that's why it's important because when this happens to you, Tavo's going to try to get a. Is he trying to get a 3 rail kick out of this? A 2 rail kick? Doesn't quite get there either way. All right, so it's Jason getting on one. Now here's where here we are where the experience is going to come in for Jason, I believe, because Jason's going to try to use his ability to safety balls to keep Tavo from winning. He's gonna do that or attempt to do that in such a way to maybe win on a 3 foul, which is tough. Ties it up. I think he wanted to be a little tighter than that. Tavo has a jump opportunity here. This jump's more manageable than the previous jump he was looking at. But the kick shot is also, certainly in play. He's going for the kick. Push the kick. Oh, barely misses it though. All right, so that puts Tavo now on 2. And because of this mess that's still on the table, there's no way Jason's going to try and break that up because no one in their right mind would. So Jason's looking for this maybe final safety opportunity, or just certainly a safety to make Tavo kick one more time. Jason going to take his time. I think where the 4 is, he might try to get that cue ball back over here again. It's just a matter if he can get it there or not, and get the 4 kind of back over here as well. And this is where 10 ball gets very interesting because there's so many times when you're doing things that are such high level and such high with so much skill that a lot of underdeveloped or more amateur players don't quite understand that it's not just running balls, and that when they play experienced players or well-developed players, that a lot of times they're not actually totally playing them because they're not playing them at this level. This is high level 10 ball where you're just minutia away from doing great things. And here Jason Fick may have put him in another situation where he's kicking the same way, We can draw our line here and see what we get out of it. But yeah, that ball's dead in the way. Now the jump gets tough because the rail's in the way. It's still producible, but you gotta hop that thing big time and get it going. And without that developed, that developed jump, because Jason won't do this against me very often because he knows I can jump over this and make that hit. Oh, he gets the hit though. So he gets out of the three foul for this to stay still an active match situation. All right, so Jason says, "All right, we'll go to work then." Because the thing is here too is since these balls now are just kind of touching the rail and tied up, now you've limited opportunity to safety with these balls. So all the opportunity that Jason had before, it's kind of washing out a little bit more now, where Jason now has to start doing more better pull moves and play the game. But he's got to play smart. He's got to play really, really controlled and not let the table get away from him. And he knows that. And Tavo knows that. And yeah, instead of trying anything like that, he's just wants to bleed this hill battle. But he might have left. Yeah, I think he could have left Tavo a combo here. It's tight. It's hard to see all the full angles from this zone. To pull this back and try to look at how much he's got to get under that angle. It's possible that seven ball goes in. Oof. Yeah, Tavo knew it was possible. It was just you had to get so thin by that six ball right there to make that happen. All right, so Jason Fick getting contact. So yeah, you saw him hit the five, and that's great. But you saw the eight touch the rail. That makes that a clean hit. As the battle ensues, yeah, and this shows just the massive emphasis on how important practicing defense is. Both these players, really develop defensive games. You can see the slight advantage and just experience and defensive skills that Jason has, but you can just see how it's just slight, but it's there. And Tavo just backpedaling to get there. Then Jason, getting that really nice, thin cut, turning into a thicker cut, and then applying added English to come back and make that breakout on those balls. Just so well played. Slow roll with the touch and touch that in. Jason just needs to start just getting his mind ready. To make this 8-9 combo. He's yeah. Stay on the seven, stay focused, but this 8-9 combo's coming. Yeah, got awful dangerous on him, but he was able to still keep it inside, drop into the pocket. So now Jason, calming down, just stay focused, understanding where the eight ball's going to land. Yeah, making the caroms all well and good, but just feeling where the eight ball's going to land after you make the combo. Doesn't quite get the combo. Makes it tougher on Tavo here though. So now Tavo can still potentially do this, but now Tavo's gotta really almost bank this thing. Unless it goes by. It might go by. Let's see if it goes by. Oh, he it's like Tavo's gotta draw if it goes, it goes. But if it doesn't go, he's gotta hit the rail here. So he impacts the nine there and drops this in. But then he's gotta worry about the cue ball coming here and the nine ball not driving to the rail right there. Ooh. Oh wow. Alright. So now depending on how inside this is, it looks manageable. Jason's Gonna probably take an attempt at getting this 8 ball to the side here, using an outside or inside spin just a little. No, he doesn't. Okay. Oh, does he? Did he try to put it down there, or did he miss the pocket? I'm not quite sure. But he leaves Tavo a cut. So Tavo makes this cut, which I know Tavo can make this cut. I've seen him do it already in this match. Then he should be. Is he gonna go there? Let's see. Make the cut. Yeah, something like that, which is exactly what he needs. It might feed more this way, though, too, depending on how thin he comes in with what English. Either way, he's where he about the best place he can be with the safety battles and everything else that's going on in this final rack here. Almost 3 foul, came down to the final foul. Just another big, brutal, kick he had to go after. Still got contact, got the rail, stayed in it, will not go away. Jason just feeling how Tavo just won't stop coming. However, not the mistake that Tavo really wanted to have this late in the rack. Jason Fick at the table. Looking to seal this up here real soon. He just stays focused on what he's doing. Take that extra breath. There you go. Calm down. Eyes on the ball. Don't change it. Hit it in. Jason Fick wins on the hill. As the players hug, what a match they had. Ooh, Jason Fick takes over top of the valley after the 10-10 thriller. Man, all right. So they're going to talk about it here for just a minute. Oh, I'd like to thank everyone out there, EvoSports, Salado, Dinosphere Balls, just everyone out there doing great things for the sport. I'm going to yell at these players to have them in the stream.